Hello, Planet Poke people. Welcome to the final edition of Pokemon of the Week. I've been your host, DeogenZ, and I'm going to take you on one last trip down memory lane with one of the most prolific Pokemon known to players. It is the ever-prevalent Uber, Mewtwo. And, well, since it's got a Mega Evolution installment, I'm going to wait to take on the more sweeper-esque sets until later in this show. Because, guess what? It actually can offer some support. Cool thing about this poke is that it has the ability to use Recover. A very obnoxious, annoying ability, especially when you enter the Uber tier, that, if it's on your side, will come in handy. And when combined with a Calm Mind, you increase your special defense and your special attack, so it's a double awesome boost, seeing that its only type, at least in this form, is Psychic. So that's the stab, and you'll want to equip Psystrike on it because, interestingly enough, it does 10 more base damage than Psychic would do, and it affects the normal physical defense. You know, it doesn't affect special defense like you would figure a special attack move would, so that's what's so special about Psystrike. So if somebody decides, oh, Mewtwo, it's normally specially equipped, I'm going to send out some special wall, it won't work because it'll attack its physical defenses. But what in particular makes this set more supportive than sweeping is obviously the effort value ranges. Since the only stats that were left, not undesirable, 90's not bad, but for both of the defensive stats I decided if it's going to have more staying power, it should be boosted. Especially since only Calm Mind is considering special defense, not physical. You want to have some already invested effort values in that so you won't be swept by some strong physical dark type move like a Night Slash or something of that nature, and if that comes onto the field, perhaps you should switch. I mean, using switch out maneuvers is probably one of the best strategies in metagame, and as a noob player, I know at least in my experience, I underused it. However, it's vital for winning games. Now, what you can do with this more long-lasting Mewtwo is that you can infect some of the other Ubers with toxicity, which is fantastic over multiple turns, especially when it has no options to switch anymore, or if you've set the field up with arena traps and things of that nature, because it will compile more damage on more damage on more damage, and it will knock out even the toughest, most well HP equipped Ubers out there. It also has access to Substitute and Light Screen, which is really excellent when you consider that it has Recover. You can, say, have Recover, a Substitute, and Calm Mind combined with your Psystrike in order to hide behind a Substitute and consistently upgrade your special attacking power, which I know maybe it will be hard for you to get straight in your head which affects which, but even though it is a special attacking move, which will be boosted by Calm Mind, it will affect your opponent's physical defense, so be sure to keep that in mind if a strong defensive wall comes onto the field, or, of course, the Dark type as mentioned before, because if that's the case, that will be the only thing that would undo this set, is that Psystrike would have no effect on Dark types, so maybe, instead of including a Toxic, you could swap it out for Aura Sphere. It's an interesting idea, and it's something to consider, but keep these stats in mind for the next set of which I'm going to talk about, because it would work equally well, except it would have some boosted effort values, rather, it would have some boosted base stats, and you wouldn't have the ability to include Leftovers, which is a pretty nice item to include on something that is meant to be semi-wall, semi-stall. So let's move on to the Brazen Power sets now. So for set 2 with the Mewtwo X, Mewtwo here goes into Super Saiyan mode and dawns on a new type, Fighting, so it becomes sort of like a super-powered Gallade in a way. But it's still uber-tiered, and the unfortunate thing about this poke is its move pool. It's not shabby, it's not horrible, but it could be better. And when comparing it to its special attacking move pool, some may wonder why there was even a physically offensive Mewtwo offered. But it's fun to mix it up, and I quite frankly like the multiple amounts of forms. Makes me wonder if one day in the future we'll see, I don't know, 2 forms of every final evolved poke with some version of a Mega Stone, but who knows, who knows. What I do knows is that the reason I said to keep the first set in mind is that its defenses get slightly upgraded, only by 10 in the base stats, and what you would need to swap out in place of Calm Mind would be Bulk Up, but it could still have access to Recover and Substitute and all those things before. So if you wanted something that was naturally more apt to attack, just based on its base stats and the item that's equipped, the Mewtwo Knight, then this could be an option for that. And it would be an interesting mix-up with the sets to confuse your foe. Now, you could decide to put the effort values in whichever formation you want, either the first set's way, or the second set in which we maximize our physical attacking power and we're maximizing our speed, because those are the main attributes that this set has to offer. It's the main thing that Mewtwo can do well, is physically hurt fast. And if you combine it with Bulk Up on a proper switch to where your foe will flee and allow you that time to bulk up, then you're boosting your physical defense and your physical attack. Which is pretty important when you consider Psycho Cut. Unfortunately, and maybe I didn't scour the Cerebi move list quite enough, but Psycho Cut appears to be its only physical psychic move. And the reason I'm so deflated on this is that Psystrike, special attacking psychic move, does 100 base damage, Psycho Cut only 70. And that's sort of the case with Drain Punch and Rock Slide, all in the 70-75 range of attack power. You could have the option for Earthquake and things of that nature. But it's also important to consider that its weaknesses have been rearranged, in that it's not weak to Bug type anymore, but Flying type, interestingly enough, and it's not weak to Dark types, but Fairy types now. So you have to keep that in mind, and it does have access to an Iron Tail. I almost said Steel Tail, but an Iron Tail, but that has lowered accuracy, and I don't know if you'd be willing to risk all that you've Mega Evolved with one Fairy, especially if it might unfortunately be faster. However, in our final set, you have the best chance of outspeeding and outmatching in Psychic Force any opponent on the field, and that is the Mega Psymorph set. Now, what's fantastic about this is that it's Mewtwo's natural game. Mewtwo is a Psychic type, always was a Psychic type, always was a special attacker. Sure, there was some room for physical attack, its stat was not completely non-negotiable, but even so, when we compare the Mega forms, you can even see that its special attack, albeit very small difference, 194 to 190 physical attack with the Mewtwo X set. So you could see that it's very much geared towards being specially offensive, and it's apparent also in its move pool, which is vast, and is all dependent on what you're lacking in your team. I don't mean to be, you know, that guy who's like, yeah, so the set list is whatever you feel like, but truly, when you have this many options, as you could see from the additional moves, and it's just move pool I selected here, there are so many things you can do, and for me to give a real good criticism on which Mewtwo version you should use, I would need to know what your other team members are and what they're lacking and what they could use some support in. So if you have no ice support, you have nothing to deal with dragons, rock types, and things of that nature, then maybe an ice beam is the way to go. I say always include the Aura Sphere, because that will take care of dark types no matter what happens, and be aware though, they may predict that you're going to use a Psystrike and take that moment to strike and switch on you. I've been talking about opportune switches for you to do this entire series, but that's not to say that your opponent can't do the same. They absolutely can, and if you become predictable in what moves you're going to use, like Psystrike over and over again, then they're definitely going to take advantage of that if they have the proper typing to prepare for that. So I hope you have enjoyed this series, Pokemon of the Week. It's been super fun doing it. I've had a large learning experience in everything metagame, from the comments to the trolls to the Battle Institute in X and Y, just so many things, so many resources, and it's exciting to see that the game is still changing 6 generations down the line. It's really just maddening and awesome, which is why, in essence, I don't want to quit doing this show, but I'm going to move on to my channel and do something similar called Pokemon Potential. And basically that will be an upgraded version of this, taking all the information I learned from the comments and glitches I've had in the past and trying to smooth them over and make more of a shiny, fun package for you guys to view upon. And so if you want to get continued effort value recommendations, definitely head on over to my channel there, youtube.com/DeogenZ. Sure, if you just type my name into the search bar, my channel will come up first anyway. And something fun that I want to do in order to thank all of you, the viewers, for participating and tuning into my videos every week, and since it'll be on my channel I can better monitor this, it's another reason to move that kind of series over there, is that every 10 episodes I want to do a shiny giveaway. And now the way it will happen is that every 10 episodes, dependent on how many times somebody has shared, and that's not to say that you can share one video 100 times and then get 100 entries into the shiny giveaway, but that every one episode is an entry. So you share that with whoever, YouTube, Twitter, and all that, that'll notify my Google Plus or whatnot, and that'll mark you down for another tag in the shiny giveaway, and then I'll do a random drawing on episode 10, and somebody will get a shiny, and it will continue on like that through the episode. So every 10, a new shiny will be given away, and the first one I plan to give away is a shiny Dratini, so that'll be loads of fun. And if you haven't had quite enough of Mewtwo exposure, you're still in the nostalgia value, then click on this video that's immediately available on my channel today. It is in Japanese, and it's also a way to show you that for the weeks that I was missing Pokemon of the Week, or it wasn't week after week subsequent, I was busy learning Japanese, and here is the very much cool stop animation results of that. So enjoy, and thanks again for tuning in to this channel, Planet Poke, and my series, Pokemon of the Week. I've been DeogenZ, and I hope to see you in the future. Welcome back to Effort Value Expertise, the Heart Gold, Soul Silver Effort Value Training Series put on by me, DeogenZ. And today, what we are focusing on is physical attack. So, you want yourself an offensive sweeper, you say. Well, make sure that you have Pokerub